Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, hi. My name is Hartika Permatasari. So today we're going to talk about one of the teaching reading strategy, that is PQ4R. That stands for preview, question, read, reflect, recite, and review. So hope you enjoy, and let's move to the material. Okay, the first is preview. Preview means read the title, the first paragraph, the first sentence in each body of the paragraph, and the conclusions to get a summary from each part of the reading. An example of applying the preview technique that can be done by teacher are 1. Provide reading material to students to read. 2. Explain the material. Therefore, an example of applying the preview technique that can be done by students are 1. Look through the page of your reading passage and read the headings of the chapter and any sections dividing the chapter. 2. Read the first and last paragraph in each section. 3. View the illustration in each section. 4. Read the captions under the pictures and take a few minutes to look at charts, graphs, or maps. Next is question. After showing, create a question to answer reading questions such as the whole and or for each paragraph or section. Then return to the subheadings in the question, or determine the topic and then use it to arrange questions so that the focus is on reading who, what, where, when, why, and how. An example of applying the question technique that can be done by the teacher are 1. Inform students to pay attention to the meaning of the text. 2. Assign tasks to students to make questions from the main ideas found by using the words what, why, who, and how. An example of applying the question technique that can be done by the student are 1. Think about the information you learned in the preview. 2. Ask yourself questions about it. 3. Think about what do you already know about ideas you saw during your preview. 4. What do you think are main points that will be raised in the chapter? 5. What do you expect to learn from reading this material? Okay, for the next material.
Okay, hi everyone, my name is Alda Bastin. So, the next teaching reading strategy is read. In this step, the teacher instructs students to first, read the passage. Second, if there are ideas that seem important, the students should make a note of them on paper. And the third one is, if the book belongs to you, consider making notes in the margins and highlighting the important parts of the book. And the last one is, if you just can't imagine writing in your book, make notes on paper. In this step, students read in detail the reading materials being studied. At this stage, students are expected to find answer to all the questions that have been formulated at the question stage. Students read certain reading materials provided by the teacher in learning. This reading material must be in accordance with the materials being taught. At this stage, students are also expected to read actively, namely reading by reacting to what they read. During reading, students can remember, memorize, and understand the information they read. Avoid making notes that are too long. Okay, the point of this step is the teacher gives assignment to students to read and respond or answer questions that have been prepared beforehand. And for students actively read while responding to what they have read and answering the questions that have been made. Thank you.
Alright, let's move on to the reflect part. Reflect is linking what students have read and answer the questions that have been determined. What should teacher do? How is it applied in the context of teachers? An example of applying the reflect technique that can be done by the teachers is presenting or informing about the material that is available in reading material. And how is it applied to students? Examples of applying the reflect technique that can be done by the students are: first, take time to reflect on what you have read. Second, how are the passages or chapters interrelated? Third, how does the information fit into things you have already learned? Fourth, what new information did you learn? Fifth, did the passage include the information you expected to cover? Sixth, was there information that surprised you?
Next is recite. In this step, students are asked to reflect or recall the information they have learned by stating important points aloud and by asking and answering questions. So, what the teacher should do in this step is asking students to make the essence of the entire discussion of the lesson learned today. Next, what the student should do in this step is 1. Think about the material. 2. Discuss it with someone else or write down the main points you learned. Generally, writing information down by hand will improve memory of the material. 3. If writing is a problem for you, consider brief notes or discuss the material with other students. 4. It is important to summarize the material in writing using your own words. 5. Explain it aloud to someone else or recite your notes aloud to yourself. And the last one is consider using a graphic organizer to increase your understanding of how concepts related to each other.
Okay, the next is a review. Repeatedly review material taught by asking yourself and saying, thinking, or reading answers. Only refers to student records if students have them too. An example application of review technique that can be carried out by the teacher. The first assigns students to read the essence of what they have made from the details of the main ideas that exist in his mind. And the second confirms the result of the conclusion made. And what about the student? An example of applying the review technique that can be done by students. The first, consider the main points of the material. The second, were your question answered? And do you feel that the writer's points are fully understood?
Okay, that's it everyone, the PQ4R strategies. Thank you for watching and listening. I hope you can understand what we explained earlier. So have a good day. Thank you.